said we now know this will be a 7-day effort focusing on, quote, high traffic tourist areas and other hotspots. Now I'm going to put on my glasses to read you the next part of this. This is the list of the agencies involved. If we can bring that up on the screen: Metro Transit Police, Amtrak Police, United States Capitol Police, DC Police Department, Homeland Security, Federal Protective Services, Enforcement and Removal Operations, the DEA, the FBI, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms, United States Marshals Service, U.S. Attorney's Office, Department of the Interior, Pretrial Services Agency, and Court Services and Offender Supervision. Now, we also know tonight News 4 has learned an advisory has been sent out to D.C. area hospitals alerting them to see a possible influx of patients starting at midnight as a result of law enforcement making a concerted effort to clear out homeless encampments.
I think, honestly, it's terrifying to think of federalization of D.C.
Advisory Neighborhood Commissioner Edward Daniels, who represents the Navy Yard area, acknowledges many in his neighborhood have been frustrated and alarmed by the events of this summer. Large groups of teens and kids even younger have caused disruption. Fireworks were thrown on busy public sidewalks. Some teens made their way into residential buildings. But Daniels says he worries about President Donald Trump's threats of a federal takeover. He wonders whether putting the National Guard, FBI, or any other federal law enforcement on the streets would clash with or erode D.C. law.
But I don't know what that would mean for our city. I think the MPD, of course, they're not perfect, but they are doing the job that we're asking them to do. We're asking for efficient but also ethical policing, and I think that's what we're getting more of these days.
This isn't a partisan issue. This is a public safety issue.
Former Advisory Neighborhood Commissioner Kathy Henderson welcomes extra law enforcement in her neighborhood, which includes Benning Road Northeast. It has struggled with a resurgence in drug and violence problems in recent years. She says she supports the request that U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro made to the D.C. Council today. Pirro asks them to reconsider 3 laws dealing with young offenders: the Second Chance Amendment, the Incarceration Reduction Amendment, which is coupled with the Second Look Act, and the Youth Rehabilitation Act, in order to toughen penalties on people under 25 who commit violent crimes.
We have an individual that committed a murder when he was 16. Because of the legislation, he was given a sentencing reduction, so he was allowed early release. This person, whom we wrote a community impact statement for, and we submitted it recently to the court, he committed another homicide.
President Trump has threatened a federal takeover of the district several times. As you know, last weekend's assault on a former high-ranking DOJ staffer in an unarmed attempted carjacking has increased the force of those threats and contributed to tonight's actions. Now, a 15-year-old boy and 15-year-old girl were taken into police custody for the assault on the 19-year-old last weekend, but a third suspect is still being sought. Live in Southwest Washington, Jackie Benson, News 4. Back to you, Jim.
Jackie, so much new information. Just quickly to be clear, you mentioned that this extra law enforcement would be going to heavily tourist areas, if you will, also in high crime neighborhoods too?
What we received, the information said high traffic tourist areas and other hot spots.
Okay.
And that is the full scope of the information we were given as to where they would be going. However, again, we have that alert from about the hospitals to expect an influx of patients possibly around midnight tonight, which is when this operation is expected to begin.
All right, Jackie Benson staying up late.